Boxing, obviously we had Tyson Fury come back off his layoff, or another retirement, I should say, where he was out for, if I'm not I'd like to say about 16 months. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
That what did you think of his comeback fight and then the potential to fight AJ, even though AJ didn't budge, him and Hearn didn't budge to Fury and Turkey Al Sheikh's
I mean,
romantic.
it was a typical Fury performance. I think I mean, he did what he did pre-music, that he always knew how to win. It wasn't always the most spectacular or the most entertaining. But that's the way he boxes, and obviously he's very good at what he does. I mean, I'm not sure how good the opponent was. He was pretty gassed after a few rounds, so
Yeah.
But again, the Fury Joshua fight would be interesting. It's a shame it's not happened 5 years earlier, but
Yeah.
regardless of titles and stuff, it's, even if people say they won't tune in, I think they will.
Everyone
Yeah.
will. They'll sell out the stadium. They'll sell out whatever pay-per-view. Well, you can't sell out, but like they'll make crazy money on pay-per-view, like everything.
Yeah. So it's still hard to pick a winner. I think if it was 5 years ago and they were both at their best or when it should have happened, I probably would have leaned more towards AJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because I think when he was peak athleticism,
Yeah.
he was just such an athlete and so quick and powerful that I think, even though Fury was a great boxer, I think that carried AJ a lot of how athletic he was and how athletic he was compared to a lot of others. I think now I'd probably lean more towards Fury, just because AJ's not quite as quick as what he was.
Right.
He's not quite as free flowing as well.
Yeah.
I think ghosts of the past of being knocked out and stuff have made him a bit less free flowing. So I think Fury would probably just cuddle him to a points decision, to be honest. It's my opinion on how it would go.
I mean, being knocked out does it on boxers that bounce back and don't get knocked out again, for instance. I feel like they don't get enough credit because being knocked out takes a toll on practically most of their careers, like from a mental standpoint and then maybe from a physical point of view as well. And that's why I was kind of surprised when you said if it was 5 years ago, AJ, because I felt like at that point then, Fury was, especially the Wilder fight, obviously he put on the pounds, but he also was stronger.
Yeah.
And that kind of surprised me. I think I maybe even said it to you at the time. I was like, bro, why is Fury so strong? Obviously Wilder claims he cheated.
Yeah, but I also don't, I think then Fury Wilder fight is interesting because obviously Fury looked unbelievable in the second fight.
Yeah.
And still looked very good in the third fight. But again, having seen Wilder post them fights, afterwards, I think Wilder was blown up to be a bit better than what he was, which made the
Which is true, but sorry to cut you off. Those fights for me took a toll on Wilder's career.
True, they've probably taken a big toll on Fury as well, to be honest.
Yeah, true. But like Wilder's not been the same since Fury, because Wilder hadn't been knocked down like that.
Yeah, but even he seems a bit gun shy now to pull the trigger to fight.
Yeah,
and I think he's a bit, again, similar to AJ, where he's probably more worried about what's coming back his way.
It feels like they've lost that evil spark in a good way.
Yeah. But I don't know, I just like the way Wilder could still get to Fury and put him down, even in his good performances like the third fight.
Yeah.
I think AJ was better than Wilder at that time.
Yeah.
And I think if Wilder could have got to a point, I think AJ would have had more in the tank to
Right.
maybe have. I mean, we'll never know, but
Mm.
because, like I said, Fury had such a knack of knowing how to win.
Bro, his recovery is
Yeah.
stupid.
So
Like, Fury can get knocked down and he's not phased.
yeah, yeah,
It's just like, you could just say he's lost his balance. Obviously, he hasn't. He's been knocked down perfectly fine. But yeah, no, it's an interesting. It is a shame. Even if the fight happens, it's gonna be how many years too late. But again, everyone's gonna tune in.
yeah. I mean, because I think Usyk chooses AJ to win between who's obviously both twice. So
and he's been training him.
yeah.
Because even in his press conference for his fight next month, it might have been asked to him, but I've seen the clip of him saying, obviously he has AJ to win, but
yeah. So I mean, it will and always will be a 50-50 fight. I think you'll always have split opinions of who people think are going to win, and it genuinely is close because they are so different, and it is whichever style comes out on top of at the end of the night. So, like I said, even if people say they're not going to tune in, they will tune in.
Yeah,
boxing fan will watch that fight.
Mate, boxing fan or non-boxing fan, everyone, because it's true. Even peak and non-peak, it was probably still 50-50 throughout in terms of who people would choose. So, and just on another fight on that card, Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. However you pronounce his name, apologies. First of all, obviously, Regis has retired after fight, and the rumors were supposedly true about him carrying quite a few injuries pre-fight to that fight, and you could kind of see it. Like, I think I tweeted, was it round 1 or round 2? I was like, why did he take this fight? Then people were like, for money, and I was like, I know that is the answer, but like at the same time, which I completely get. But for me, I just didn't think of the money. I was just like, why is he still fighting? And then towards the end, like middle of the fight, for him to go the duration surprised me, one.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I don't know if this is a decent performance from him or just a performance from Conor Benn where, again, you feel underwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, other than a huge payday, I don't think Conor Benn came out of that fight with a lot, to be honest. Like I said, it was pretty underwhelming. But again, I know Eddie Hearn was saying that he just doesn't look strong at that weight anymore at all. Having bulked up for the Eubank fights to then drop back down, it is going to take a massive toll on the body. And he did look slight, and he didn't look as ferocious as what he did pre-Eubank fights when he was fine at that weight and he was blowing a lot of people away. So again, I mean, I don't think he's world title level, if I'm being honest, unless he gets really lucky with a vacant title or whoever. But any of the big names, I don't give him much of a hope, to be honest. But again, he's earned a lot of money doing without a world title, so navigated his pretty well, to be fair to him.
He has. He's definitely utilised his name, and fair play to him on that front. He basically answered the next question that I was going to ask about whether he could be a world champion. Because I feel like you get it in boxing anyway within people in your weight class that will watch your fight and that will say, you're no level for me, you're no match for me. But other boxers within different weight classes, current and past boxers, none of them rated his performance. And for them to be that vocal about it I was like, ooh, I think, again, I might have tweeted that at the time. I was like, a lot of boxers were not rating his performance and the way they were vocal about it. I think that also comes into play with a lot of them believe he definitely cheated on his own accord years ago when he got the drugs ban. But yeah, I don't think his name's still there, but his name may get him a world title fight because a world champion may
Yeah.
think
It's
from the
payday for the other
financial.
fighter, innit? I think
Exactly.
if you're a world champion looking at that, you're not going to turn down a fight against him if it's offered you. So I think he'll get a shot.
Garcia tweeted saying, "Yeah, let's make it happen."
Yeah, I think he wants Ryan Garcia, but I think Garcia probably. I think he flattens him quite quickly, to be honest.
Fair.
Yeah, I think the Eubank fights were probably the best and worst things that happened to him in his career. I think best because they'll be the fights he'll be remembered for because they were huge, going off the back of what their dads did, and it was a great win for him, and he earned loads of money, and it's a good name to have on the resume. But I think it's detriment if he was going to win a world title to put on the muscle, drop back down. That's only detrimented him, I think, in terms of aspirations to win a world title, in my opinion.
Fair. Because in terms of the champs themselves, I don't again, like you said, you think Garcia will flatten him. I don't even think he'll get close to Shakur.
Yeah.
Shakur will probably do what he did to Tio, the same that he to Conor. Shakur might, he's not got the knockout power that people want, but he might even knock him out because he'll just outskill him that he's going to be hitting him so much.
But Ben, even it was a 10th round, he looked tired as well. He
yeah.
near as throwing combinations like he was against Eubank. Like he looked drained. That he could easily be put away by not necessarily a big puncher.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it's like what happened to Kell Brook when he went up to Golovkin and then dropped back down. Like he was just never the same. And I think moving up weight takes a lot. Moving up and then dropping back down takes a lot more out of a fight than what people probably think. And even though Eubank never knocked him out, I think the punishment is probably taken because they weren't quiet fights, were they, to say the least? They were pretty brutal. So I think even though he's young, I think they've aged his career.
Yeah. Even on Eubank itself, those fights took a lot out of him for him to.
I think they both
trained
aged a lot in them.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't think Eubank should have taken the second one because of the damage on his career. One being older, and then he had to drop. But then on Conor Benn, like you said, it was probably more from a finance point of view. One creating those fights in terms of what their dads did, because both their fights will go down as like, depending on if AJ and Fury do fight, the biggest British boxing fights of the modern generation. Do you know what I mean? So they'll always have that staple hold, or people will remember. The whole world tuned in for their fights, and it was both non-title fights. And they sold out the stadiums and stuff. So yeah.
No, exactly. They were huge events. So you can understand why neither turned them down. And I think they will be the highlights of their careers. Fighting for their family names and whatnot. So I think that will be what they're remembered for, to be honest.
Fair. Well, it's interesting that neither of us and many don't think Conor Benn's going to win a world title. It's so crazy because I think I even said to you the day before, I was like, bro, I didn't even know both of them were fight, like Fury and Ben.
Yeah.
Like obviously hasn't really done a lot of promotion himself, and the talks with. I knew he had a fight coming up because obviously, the stuff from his dad saying he don't want to be in his corner, all that stuff. But like Ben, it was just like, oh shit, he's fighting.
Yeah, I knew fights were on, but I didn't have a clue when they were or.
Yeah. So, what you said, is that one of the dogs?
Yeah, he's eating my sock.
Nah.